Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be doing a plant tourism video in Austin, Texas. I am based out in North Dallas, but I decided to go ahead and drive down 3.5 hours down the road to Austin, Texas to go tour some local plant nurseries. So this is the Great Outdoors Garden Center. This is part 2 of my plant nursery tour. So the Great Outdoors is actually one of the premier nurseries in Austin, Texas. And as always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video. I make daily 1-hour plant shopping content for your viewing pleasure, and that's the support I would love to ask. If you can do that, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video. But as you can see, we are entering this is day 2 of me visiting this gorgeous plant nursery. Now the Great Outdoors is a huge plant nursery. You can see right over here they've got a beautiful water fixture and a pond full of some gorgeous looking koi. Love koi. It gives me that zen vibe. I wish I would be able to get one of these these koi ponds in my backyard someday. We'll see. You know, it's always a good thing to dream about things that you like, because you never know, they might actually work out for you. But I love looking at the koi. It's very relaxing. I went ahead and got here around 9 o'clock as soon as the plant nursery opened. This is actually this past Sunday, just because this nursery is super busy with a lot of people, and I wanted to make sure that I can film and give you guys another detailed look at some of the plants. I will be featuring mostly the greenhouse indoor plants, and you can see there is a gorgeous looking cordyline tea plant here. It is outside, and you can see that there's some great variegation. We've got some nice looking rhapis palms, this beautiful alocasia right here. And then we've got some more plants right over here before we enter the greenhouse. These are a bunch of juvenile form Monstera deliciosas. Love this. I actually like the juvenile leaves, those heart-shaped leaves of Monstera deliciosa. Part of me wishes that it wouldn't fenestrate as well, because I don't know, I just like the look of that heart-shaped leaf. And we are now about to enter this paradise again. So we're just gonna take a look at this. I am basically speechless, and it usually takes my breath away when I walk into such a gorgeous looking nursery. This is part 2, where I'm going to feature specifically the philodendrons, the Rex begonias, the calatheas, as well as the lipstick plants. So right over here we are looking at some philodendron that are growing up a moss pole, a totem pole. As I've stated in my previous videos, philodendrons that like to climb actually size up in leaf shape, and you can see right here, this is a philodendron Jose Bono. This one is not a bad price at all, $289.99. I mean, while it is $289.99, you can see that there are several philodendron Jose Bono. Look at how gorgeous the variegation is, and it is growing up a moss pole or a coir pole. Love that a lot. I love the variegation, and this is actually an easy to care for philodendron. Again, with these types of philodendrons, you need to give it some bright indirect light. Make sure that the soil dries out completely before watering it, and that's pretty much it. And we are looking at another beautiful philodendron. This is the philodendron ring of fire, and it's interesting. They actually have an alocasia corm that must have dropped in the soil, because there's an actual bonus plant. There's an alocasia. Notice the beautiful variegation of this philodendron ring of fire. I know that a lot of you guys check out big box store plant shopping videos, and we've seen a lot of philodendron ring of fires at grocery stores, Walmart, Home Depot, you name it. They are actually been released, but you can see that these are the larger forms of the philodendron ring of fire. And that's the reason why I like doing local plant nursery shopping videos, because as the majority of you guys have actually discovered my channel because of, you know, big box store plant shopping videos. But I definitely want to show you local plant nurseries like this one, just because you can see some of the plants are a lot larger. There's more diversity of plants, so you can be exposed to more plants just because I feel like big box stores only have some of the common plants, maybe some trending tropicals, but like we wouldn't see highly developed plants like this. Like, check this out. This is a Philodendron beneficifolium, or the horsehead philodendron, and you can see this one is actually happy because it has a couple of blooms. Before you let these blooms grow on your philodendron, unless you are intending to hybridize them and actually grow them from seed, which is a difficult process. Actually, this one's not a bad price, $76.99, and it's already trailing. But anyways, if you see blooms on your plants that you're growing indoors, unless it is a specific plant that you're growing for flowers, I would definitely snap the blooms off, cut them off, just because there's so much energy placed into the blooms versus growing the foliage, and you want to make sure that it doesn't stun the growth of your plant. So just a little tip, so many gorgeous plants here, I can't get over it. And I did want to give out a shout out to Heather from The Great Outdoors. She is a social media manager, and she happened to hop on our live premiere chat and interact with all of us. So really appreciate that you were able to share my video on the Great Outdoors Instagram, and even interact with our plant foldies, which is what I call my viewers that watch this channel. And hopefully we can get you guys more exposure. And you can see right here, Monstera deliciosa, juvenile form. And I love the fact that the Great Outdoors really has a lot of diverse plants, and they have different sizes of plants. So like, if you don't want to buy a large Monstera deliciosa, you can buy a juvenile form and start it out and grow it and have that plant journey. I love a lot of the 4-inch starter planters they have. And it's interesting, they got the monkey mass vine, which is basically another name for the Monstera adansonii. And the Great Outdoors, they have very detailed labeling on the plants. So you can see right here, they've got the plant characteristics, the plant specifics on the plant care, the price. So there is no questions asked. You are going to be educated with the plant care. And that is what makes the Great Outdoors Garden Center one of the best plant nurseries, not only in Texas, but in the country. I mean, I will be visiting a lot more plant nurseries as I do some more traveling, but hands down, this is an amazing nursery. And you can see right here, we've got a Philodendron tiger tooth, or I believe this is also known as the jungle boogie. This is the green form, just the original green form of, say, the Philodendron ring of fire or the Philodendron golden crocodile. I definitely want to get this so I can have like the collection of tiger tooth, or just the jagged leaf Philodendron. Gorgeous looking plant. This plant gets really large as well. It can spread up to 3 to 5 feet in length. So if you don't have the space, you just definitely have to be cognizant of what plants you're getting and in their maximum growth patterns. And truthfully, a lot of these philodendron can get even larger. I know that most of these philodendron we don't always see in a big box store, so it's so exciting to show you guys these gorgeous plants. And you can see we've got a lot of Monstera adansonii. This is awesome. I love seeing Monstera Peru. This is for $48.99 in a 6-inch planter. But what I love about the Great Outdoors is they sell plants that are growing up a totem pole or some type of support. You can see that the leaves literally get larger in size, and they've got a bunch of hanging baskets. They've got plants on other totem poles. Really like that a lot. That's something you don't really see at a big box store, and that's why it's always important to check out your local plant nurseries. Now, my plant foldies, please leave in the comments what you think so far of the plants at the Great Outdoors. Definitely follow the Great Outdoors Instagram page. You will see updates. And if you are totally visiting Austin at some point and you love plants, number one recommendation is definitely going to the Great Outdoors. They've got such a friendly staff, and you can see that all of these plants, look at how gorgeous it is. Here is a gorgeous looking Philodendron brantianum. Look at the silvery foliage, the metallic shine. I love this a lot. And you know, while some people will say that this philodendron is a little bit more finicky, the thing you need to just remember is Philodendron brandtianum actually wants to grow up a pole. That's its natural habitat. And then it also requires just a little bit more higher humidity. So for anybody growing philodendron or even plants that require high humidity, what I would suggest is just making sure you get some type of small humidifier, just a little humidifier. And I know some people might have concerns about maybe messing up their floors. As long as you have the humidifier above the shelves really high, that should provide enough humidity for your plants and they'll be able to thrive. If they're growing on those moss poles, their aerial roots will actually have a better chance of attaching to poles. And right over here, we've got a philodendron white knight. Nice looking philodendron. And again, the great outdoors, you know, if you're looking for different types of philodendron, even the starter ones that are in 4-inch planters, 6-inch planters, or even hanging baskets, this is really the plant nursery you want to go to. Oftentimes you have to go to an online shop and order plants to get certain philodendron, but this is going to definitely be one of my go-to places to go buy philodendron. Like, look at this philodendron golden Melinonii, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I probably butchered it, but you can see how gorgeous this is. This reminds me of a philodendron moonlight. Not 100% sure what the differences are, but what I do know is I am a huge fan of yellow leaf plants, neon leaf plants. I definitely want to get one of these at some point, and I did very good about not buying as many plants, and it's not because I don't want to buy plants from here. It's just that if you haven't been following my plant shopping video tours that I do daily, I've literally spent so much money on plants in the last 2 months. I've got to slow down a little bit. I do want to thank those that have, you know, supported me by your viewership, by hitting the like button, by sharing my videos, and even sending out a super sticker or a tip during my live premiere chats. I've had some surprises where I would check one of my videos and somebody would drop a tip on it, you know, as like a super thanks. So I really appreciate that. That actually gets me a little bit more funding for me to be able to purchase plants and just even with my materials. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to even send me just a little tip or a super sticker, super thanks on my YouTube. But you can see this is a beautiful philodendron Calkins gold in a 4-inch planter. I will be showing you guys the plant IDs and then also their care tips. So you can see right here, if you want to like pause the video or screenshot the video so you can get all of the care tips, please do so. I recommend that just because there's so many philodendron today that I will be showing you. And this philodendron Prince of Orange, gorgeous plant for $8.99. That is a steal when it comes to the philodendron Prince of Orange. And the great outdoors, I'm telling you, is one of the best plant nurseries I've seen just because of the diversity of plants and the extra mile they take to make sure that the plants have a plant ID as well as the plant care and plant characteristics. Not many plant nurseries will do that. You definitely will not see that at a big box store. And even the organization of having all the philodendrons you would love in one aisle. That's the kind of things I look at. And on top of that, have we seen any plants that are not healthy? Absolutely not. This place is gorgeous, and this is actually my first time ever seeing this. Check the leaves out on this philodendron atom. Really nice looking philodendron. This is one that I also regret not purchasing because I haven't ever really seen this philodendron, and this is really the first time I've ever seen any type of philodendron atoms. Really like that. Even though it is just a green philodendron, I like that subtle variegation of, I mean, not variegation, but just the veining, the green veining on it. And over here, we are looking at a philodendron Jopii for $32.99. This is a juvenile form. So with this philodendron, you definitely have to put it on some type of pole, trellis, plank, because the leaves on this actually change a different leaf shape. They get very large, and it's actually a unique shape of the leaves. But again, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, like $59 plus, you can start out with a juvenile form of a philodendron like this. It gets up to 3 feet in, tall. Really nice looking philodendron. Very easy too. It's a vigorous grower. And over here, if you don't want to buy the large Philodendron Ring of Fires, here is one for $28.99 in a 4-inch starter planter. So these ones have some really nice looking variation. And while we might see Philodendron Ring of Fire, say at Walmart or big box stores, I would still pay just a little bit more at, say, this local nursery, because you are being guaranteed a much healthier looking plant, a plant that may potentially not even really have any pests, because local plant nurseries, especially this nursery, I've noticed they've got a lot of employees, and they've got a lot of employees that are specialized with the different plants. So there is more confidence in shopping at this local nursery, or just local nurseries in general. That is awesome. I love that. So definitely consider getting plants at a local plant nursery. I'm a big advocate when it comes to shopping local, or supporting local businesses, just because of the people behind it. I haven't really physically met any of the staff at the Great Outdoors, but what I can say is they are super friendly. And then shout out to Heather again, the social media manager, for taking the time to really promote this video. They didn't have to do that, but they even shared it on their Instagram page, which has like 18,000 followers. So that is a lot of exposure that our plant community got, and hopefully it works both ways, where we can send more of our plant viewers, plant foldies to Austin. Check out this Philodendron squamiferium. I love the petioles, the fuzzy petioles on it, and it's one that I actually have. It's an easy looking growing plant as well. And wow, look at this. Do you see what I see? Philodendron Sun Red for $19.99. It's another starter planter. It would be so awesome to actually collect all of the philodendron, just because this one specifically has more of a reddish tone. The new leaves definitely unfurl reddish tone, but you look at how the Philodendron Sun Red and the contrast of that philodendron with the yellow leaves would look like. I definitely love philodendron. I think they are an easy to care for plant, much easier than, like, say, ficus and calathea. And it's just awesome to see this nursery provides so many different philodendrons. Like, look at this Philodendron gloriosum, another wish list plant of mine. This one's for $32.99, which is not a bad price at all. I wish more big box stores would carry philodendron. I would say in the next year or two, we'll probably see even more philodendron. Costa Farms does a really good job making these plants accessible. And here is another gorgeous looking philodendron. This one is labeled Philodendron Hybrid, 4-inch planter, $11.99. A very good price for this philodendron. I love the green leaves, but I also like the fact that when the leaves first unfurl before they harden, you can see that there are some, it's yellow. These plants, all of the philodendron we've seen so far do require bright and direct light. I don't think they will do very well in lower light conditions. So just make sure that if you are planning on growing philodendron, that you can give them the right lighting conditions. And here is another Philodendron Golden Melanonii, I believe that's how you pronounce it, $22.99. Another philodendron that I wish I would have bought. When I reminisce on my trip to Austin, having the idea to do a plant tourism series where, rather than just going on out-of-town vacations, why not also look at plant nurseries? And I really am excited, and I love the fact that there was a really positive reception by the local plant nurseries. The other day I premiered the Tillery Street Plant Co, and they were also able to share my video with their followers on Instagram. I love Austin plant nurseries, local plant nurseries, because you can see all of this. And one of my favorite philodendron has to be the Philodendron Black Cardinal. This one is for $18.99. This is in a 4-inch planter. I happened to get one of these actually from a big box store, actually Target. It was being offered for $11.99 by Wild Interiors. But what I love about the Black Cardinal philodendron is just the dark foliage. Look at how gorgeous this is. And then when you put it right next to that bright yellow philodendron, it just gives it such a great contrast. I do believe that black plants, darker foliage plants, give an element of just class, especially if you put it in a planter like a matte planter that's like white or some type of neutral color, that would be awesome. I definitely want to start some like a gothic plant series as well. When I start showing my potential house plants, I'm going to definitely group up a lot of my dark foliage plants. And check this out. This is a Philodendron tortum, $49.99 in a 6-inch planter. So we've seen Philodendron tortums being offered by Costa Farms, Trending Tropicals, but nowhere do you see a Philodendron tortum like this where it is not damaged. You can tell that this is super healthy. You can tell that this plant is gonna make it. And while we might pay like $19.84 at Walmart, most of the Philodendron tortums I've seen have been extremely damaged. And again, I don't want to sound like I am bashing big box stores. Don't get me wrong. Love big box stores, but when it comes to maybe paying just a little bit more, I would definitely go to a local plant nursery like the Great Outdoors, because you are getting healthy plants. You are getting plants that there is a lot of care taken care of. It's not like they just unpack the plants from the box. They've unpacked the plants, plants from the box, organize them in a way where they're getting the optimal conditions to grow, and they continue to get that care from the staff. Like I would have bought this Philodendron tortum right here, $39.99 in a 4-inch planter. But I've been told that Philodendron tortum actually are a very hardy philodendron, and they can grow pretty vigorously. I did do a plant nursery shopping video at Cultivar, Texas, which is in Houston, and I saw a very mature version of a Philodendron tortum. So stay tuned for that. I plan to perhaps get that premiered either tomorrow, which would be Saturday, or Sunday. And then check this out, Philodendron Golden Violin, $22.99 in a 4-inch starter planter. Really like this as well. I did luck out and get one of these from Walmart for Trending Tropicals, Costa Farms. Mine is doing extremely well, and this one is another vigorous grower. Now with this Philodendron, you have to give it a moss pole, a totem pole, some type of support, because it wants to climb, and as it climbs up, the leaves become even more pronounced in their shape. And if you give a lot of bright indirect light, it will get even more yellow and neon. So just FYI with that, some plants, what I've learned is the more light you give it, the more pronounced the coloration or the full potential of the plant's beauty is enhanced. This one right here is a Philodendron Summer Glory. This one's 25% off. Not a bad looking philodendron. And honestly, I appreciate the Great Outdoors for just slightly marking down their price, their plants. If there's just a little bit of damage, like I would have bought that for 25% off. There's just a little damage on the leaves, but overall that plant is healthy. And this is a wish list plant of mine I want to add to my collection. This is a Philodendron Belitiae for $94.99 in a 6-inch planter. So with Philodendron Belitiae, I remember 3 to 4 years ago, and when I say 3 to 4 years ago, literally that is during the pandemic, this plant was extremely expensive. It was in the hundreds of dollars. And that goes to show, if you just wait long enough, maybe a year or two for a plant, and you have the patience to do so, these plants always drop in its prices. And I just like the fact that a local nursery like this now offers, these philodendrons that would be hard to get. Like this one's actually 25% off, marked down, not a bad price at all. So you can get Philodendron Belitiae for a fair price. I love that a lot. I think that plants definitely have a certain price point for it, but what's discouraging, or what was used to be very discouraging for me, is when you would see plants that were extremely expensive, and it just became more so available for the people that had a little bit more money to spend on plants. I honestly think that plants should be accessible to everybody. Plants bring a lot of people joy. I think for some people, it's a really good therapy. For me, it's definitely great therapy to create content like this Philodendron Pink Princess, gorgeous looking philodendron, not as highly variegated, but part of me feels like these Philodendron Pink Princess are not tissue cultured, and we can talk about that later in a later video. But like this philodendron hybrid, again, kind of reminds me of a Philodendron Prince of Orange, large plant already for $11.99. But when you think about plants and what they do for you, always remind yourself, why do you collect plants? Do you collect plants because they bring you joy? Do you collect plants because it helps with maybe perhaps mental health? There's so many benefits to having plants in your home. I mean, this is another philodendron I want to add as well. This philodendron painted lady. This is another philodendron that was quite difficult to get for a good price. But now, years later, after the pandemic, you can see gorgeous philodendron like this. For my plant foldies and my viewers that continue to watch my channel, I hope that my content actually gives you some type of joy, some type of stress reliever, some type of plant therapy. It makes me happy, honestly, especially for those that take the time to go on my live premiere chats and just interact with me, interact with each other. I always want to create a space where it's positive and we're encouraging each other for plants, where we can ask even the most basic questions and not feel like somebody's judging you. That's the kind of community I want to have for my channel, Growfold. And it's really amazing that, you know, about two and a half months of consistent daily videos have really grown our community. So I know that I've been kind of rambling on, but I feel like this is my time to have the space to just kind of let you guys know how much I appreciate you watching my videos. And I mean, even this local plant nursery right over here, so awesome. I love it so much. And you can see this beautiful philodendron dark lord, and then you can see the price point for it. It looks like somebody bought that. What a gorgeous looking plant. And you know, it reminds me of the Plant Keeper Incorporated plant nursery tour video. It's another local Dallas nursery where the philodendron was allowed to grow on a 6-foot totem. And look at that, you can see the maximum size of what a philodendron can look like. For most people, they don't really see those philodendrons get that large because that is not something that most people will do indoors. Feature a Monstera Thai constellation, gorgeous variegation. Monstera Thai constellation used to be really expensive and now it's easily accessible. Price is still slightly high, but nowhere near the hundreds of dollars you would spend for it. And I mean, I love seeing the mature leaves. Mine isn't necessarily the most variegated version of a Monstera Thai constellation, but needless to say, the journey to get mine to grow in my personal houseplant collection, it is now about 6 feet tall from a 2-inch, barely rooted cutting that I imported years ago. It just brings me joy to just see that. And look at this. I mean, this is a nice semi-mature version of a Monstera Thai constellation. And you can see right over here just how gorgeous that philodendron dark lord is. And then there's just more to view right here. I love all of the philodendron that they have. This is a Philodendron gloriosum that we're looking at. Velvety, nice leaves. And then this is a Philodendron Burley Marks variegated. This one is for 50% off. So if you want something like this, it's not as highly variegated. What I would do with this variegated Philodendron Burley Marks is to chop it up and propagate it to see if they'll push out some more variegation. This one is a Philodendron White Wizard for $146.99 in a 6-inch planter. It's a little bit more pricey because it's already growing up a totem or some type of support. You can see the leaves are getting larger. And this is the actual philodendron that I need to complete my Philodendron Royal series. I have a Philodendron White Princess, Philodendron White Knight. I just need the Wizard. So let's take a look at this again. Fancy goldfish. So the staff actually have specialists that take care of those goldfish. I love that a lot. And then look at this Philodendron Summer Glory. This one is for $116.99. Look at how thick it is. Look at how when it starts to go on a totem, how large the leaves get. So you saw the 4-inch starter planters for Philodendron Summer Glory, but what I like about it, and I think this is another philodendron I would love to add in my collection, is just that bronze look about the plant. So, you know, the subtleties of plants in general, it's just gorgeous. you gotta love the Philodendron, just a green version of the Burley Marks right here. This is $42.99, very vigorous grower. This one also is another Philodendron that needs to be climbing up. You will get much larger leaves. And then this one is a Streptocarpus pretty turtle. Never seen this plant before. Look at the variegation. This one's in a 6-inch planter. This one's for $32.99. Those are the plant care tips. Never have seen this plant. It reminds me of like African violet foliage. It's got some fuzziness about it, and I love the metallic variegation on it. That's why I love looking at new plants, and local plant nurseries like the Great Outdoors gives me more insight on all the other plants that might not necessarily be available at the big box stores. And you could see that they only have a couple of African violets, so maybe African violets are quite popular in Austin. This one is African Violet Harmony. You've got a little bit of variegation here. Love variegated plants, love variegated African violet. I happen to get one at another local plant nursery called Archie's Green Land in Fort Worth, Texas. But I thought that African violets would actually be difficult to grow. They're really easy, and they remind me of my grandmother. And you know, for those that are getting to know me, my grandmother was the one that taught me a lot about plant care. She showed me patience and just really giving the plants the love that they need, the extra time that they need. This one right here is a gorgeous looking Philodendron, Hoya carrii in a hanging basket. So this is just a green form. Nothing wrong with the green form. In the first video, we featured the Great Outdoors. We had the variegated Hoya carrii, and we had the more elusive variegated Hoya carrii reverse. Now we're looking at the green form. Nice looking hanging basket. I'm definitely getting into Hoyas. I love the texture of the leaves, but I really think I'm going to become a Hoya head if I see blooms on my 2 Hoyas that I have in my collection. But look at all of these beautiful plants here. Right over here, we're looking at some Begonia Rex for $12.99, or Rex Begonia. This is in a 5-inch starter planter. Not a bad looking Rex Begonia. Actually, one of the best pricing I've seen so far for such a large price. Now with Begonia Rex, you want to make sure you never get the leaves or the stems wet, otherwise they will rot and then crisp up. The best thing to do for Begonia Rex is to also make sure you give it bright indirect light, but when you are watering it, you want to bottom water it. So what does that mean? Bottom watering means you get like a saucer, fill it up with water, and then stick the bottom of the plant and just let it sit there until all of the water, or the majority of the water, is pulled up by the soil. That way it stays moist. Now this is my first time ever seeing such a unique begonia. This is a Begonia ferox, $49.99 in a 4-inch planter. That's the care tips right over there. I kind of panned over, but what I like is, look at that. There are spikes on the begonia. Like, that's amazing. Now I would think something like this would probably need a little bit more higher humidity. I need to do my research, but that's interesting how this begonia has those spikes. Really interesting begonia. And that's the thing about the Great Outdoors. They just have a lot of diversity. I've said this a lot, but they have a lot of diversity, and that's what makes this particular local plant nursery in Austin special. If you want plants like begonias like this, definitely check it out. And again, it's one of those plant nurseries that provides a lot of care tips, care characteristics, very friendly staff. And mind you guys, I am not sponsored by any means by the Great Outdoors. This is literally me just giving you my insights about this plant nursery. I think when I do my plant tourism tours for these nurseries, I want to just give you my honest opinion on what I'm getting from these plant nurseries. And to sum it up, what I got from the Great Outdoors is very friendly atmosphere, many healthy looking plants, many diverse plants, and just overall a very good ambiance in the way they display their plants. Like, look at how gorgeous this angel wing begonia is. Really like this a lot. I know we see a lot of begonia maculatas, you know, the polka dot plants, but even just having that subtle maroon, almost brown shine to it, that's gorgeous. I unfortunately haven't had the best luck with growing angel begonia. My grandmother can grow these like weeds, and like this is another begonia here with just a little subtle variegation, and I like that a lot. You can see there is a bloom here, and the pricing for these begonia are not bad at all. Again, I was only on a 1 plant limit buy. I ended up getting an Aglaonema, Spathonema of all the plants, because if you guys know me, I love Aglaonemas, my favorite plants. But it doesn't mean that I didn't want to buy these plants. I am just going broke buying these plants, so I am just gonna try my best to keep window shopping for now. Here's some more Begonia Rex right over here. Beautiful colors, love the metallic shine to it, and these are even more begonias, like this begonia right here for $12.99. I want to buy it. I wanted to buy it so much because the dark foliage is number one. I love that. Look at the fuzziness on the leaves, and then there's underside, the undercolor of that like maroon purple, and the veining, the green veining. It's like there's so much going on with this begonia. And what's interesting is I filmed this begonia, and as I walked around the plant nursery, I saw somebody else pick it up, because this was actually the second plant that I was gonna possibly get, because I've never seen this type of begonia available. I mean, there's just so much going on. The orange, the green veining, the fuzziness on the petioles, and the price alone was awesome. I actually wanted to buy 4 Begonia Rex. You'll see this. The green one right next to it was another one I wanted to buy, just because I love neon yellow, foliage. And this one is really cool too. This is another Rex Begonia for $12.99. That is not a bad price at all. So like, I'm thinking when I visit the great outdoors again, I'm just going to give myself a budget and just kind of stick to it, because, when I reminisce on the plants that I've seen, this is another begonia I would have loved to add to my collection. Now I am ending, my vacation. I have to go back to work Saturday, and I want to just make sure that I get my plant room together. So a little bit about my household. I've got a lot of plants in my living room, my kitchen, but I feel like it's a little bit more overwhelming just having plants. So I want to set up my office to, my front office to become a plant room where I can store a lot of these smaller plants like these begonias. So that's what I'm doing today. I want to try to get the Barinia grow lights that I bought from Amazon, so I can get my IKEA shelf set together. But you can see this begonia. I love it. Let me know in the comments or in the live premiere chats what you think so far about these begonias. Like, here is another one, for instance. This one has an ivory look about it, $12.99 for this Rex Begonia, but look at how gorgeous it is. There is a subtlety on the leaf texture. I love the colors. I could easily see myself becoming more involved with begonias. But then again, I say that about every single plant genus, but I think that I just love plants in general. It's like, plants make people happy. They make me happy. Being able to really promote a local plant nursery like the Great Outdoors makes me happy, because I feel like social media is one of those things where you end up, you can utilize it for making good, positive content. We've seen a lot of, things that go wrong with the social media, maybe some of the toxicity, the negativity that we might see, but we've got to support local plant nurseries. I can't stress enough how gorgeous the Great Outdoors is, how gorgeous the plants they have. Like, look at this begonia right here. This Begonia Rex, beautiful pearl iridescent look about it. And then when you look at the undersides, look, there's even more interest. So when you talk about enjoying your plants, you can enjoy them from the top view, the bottom view, the side view. And that's why, if we're going to be able to grow plants, if you're putting hundreds of plants in, you got to remember that as much as you want to grow plants, and I have to tell myself this, you want to have the time to literally make sure you're not, tied down having to water 100 plants. Definitely think about the care that you would put in. But if I were to go ahead and buy the begonia, I'd buy all 5 of these Rex begonias. That would just make a nice little shelf of begonias. Oh wait, there's another begonia right here. Another one for $12.99. Gorgeous looking begonia. I love the undersides of the leaves. Now, I have 3 Rex begonias already. 2 of them are doing great. One of them hasn't done as well, but it hasn't died. I basically just cut back some of the leaves and I can see some new growth. So I don't know if it's just an acclimation period or maybe I didn't give it the right conditions. But overall, love Begonia Rex. I definitely want to feature more as check out local plant nurseries, but this is another one here. And with big box stores, you don't really see the quality of Rex begonias like you would here. I never really see Rex begonias offered in a 5-inch planter or even a 6-inch planter. Look at that. So gorgeous. I love the outlining of these leaves as well, that like very light lavender pink tone. Very nice looking begonias. I honestly would have bought all of them. Here is the infamous Begonia maculata that we've been seeing at big box stores. This is one that was released by Costa Farms Trending Tropicals. This is a nice, healthy looking one right there. Love the polka dots on the leaves. I just haven't had the best luck growing a Begonia maculata. And my only concern is with Begonia maculata, unless you are trimming it down, it can get leggy. But look at how gorgeous those angel wings are. And I think it was like $22.99 for a 5-inch starter planter. So it's not a bad price at all. But when you compare them to the other Rex begonia, I feel like the Rex begonia have it more beauty than that one. This one is an Anthurium for $12.99, blooming Anthurium. Love this. I have been able to convert some into a hydroponic situation. And the reason why I'm doing hydroponics, and for those that are new to hydroponics, basically it's growing a plant where it's only in water. You're growing a plant in water. It doesn't have any substrates, but these blooming Anthurium here, like look at this one right here. They kind of lend themselves to hydroponics because the roots are very thick. They're very established. I've been able to convert one. I intend to convert another one, and this one is not bad at all. This one's for 20% off. Not really sure why this one was actually discounted, because the leaves are perfect and the blooms. I actually would have picked this one up as well because I like how it's got that like peppermint candy cane look about it on the blooms. So nice looking one. Definitely would love to add that. And then this is a typical red one for $13.99. I like the Anthurium because this Anthurium basically is just a basic green one, but look at how nice the foliage look. I know a lot of people have more of the fancy Anthuriums, but they are a little bit more finicky. But like this one, for instance, this is an Anthurium red crystallinum crossed with a luxuriance. Look at the leaves of this one. It reminds me of like a Monstera Peru. Look at just how the texture of the leaves look. Very nice looking Anthurium. And then they have some like red stems. I would love to add this one to my collection as well. There's just all these plants I want to add to my collection. Like, who are we kidding, right? Plant foldies, let me know what you think about this Anthurium. If you've grown Anthuriums, what are your care tips for Anthuriums? I know that they kind of require more humidity and specifics, but you can see this one right over here actually has the same blooms as those blooming Anthurium we looked at, the ones that you would typically see at big box stores. But wow, you can see the blooms right over here. And it's interesting that a lot of people have hybridized them and actually have grown Anthuriums from seeds. I've never tried that before, but I think it'd be an interesting concept to do. You can see that these have the blooms right there. This one is a happy plant and just gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. I can't get enough of that, and I think that I would end up buying one of these types of Anthuriums because of just the leaf texture. I don't even need to find one that's variegated. I just want one that has gorgeous foliage like this. And for the most part, I think that this one might be an easier care for plant. And you can see that there's just so many plants to look at here. The Anthuriums are gorgeous. We're gonna go ahead and look at another Anthurium. This is an Anthurium Cobra. For that price, not a bad looking Anthurium as well. And again, with Anthuriums, they would make very good hydroponic type plants. I think that growing plants in different substrates makes your plant collection interesting. So when I do my plant tour, you'll see that. See just how many aglaonemas and different types of hanging baskets they have. I really love that this greenhouse has such good lighting. It really intensifies the beauty of the plants, the subtleties in their foliage, and just all of the gorgeousness. Like, look at these beautiful Stramanthe triostars. Mine is actually doing very well, and I don't really have to do so much for it. The only thing I do is I make sure that I water it with like bottled water. Just with any prayer plants or any like calatheas, I think that they do best when you don't water them with tap water. And you can see right over here, this is another aglaonema I've never seen. This is an aglaonema shades. I saw that in my part 1 video, but what I like about it is it has more of a gray tone to its leaves. And then there's just more plants. I mean, I just can't get over all these hanging baskets of goldfish plants and lipstick plants. Like this one right here is for $38.99. This is a goldfish plant. It reminds me of like a Hoya. I love that the leaves almost look like plastic. It almost looks like an artificial plant, but it is not. And what's nice about goldfish plant is when it starts to bloom, you get these orange blooms and they fill it up, and they kind of do remind you of goldfish. So maybe that's the reason why they call it. I used to grow fancy goldfish. I used to import them. They are a lot of work. So if you're ever interested in growing goldfish, make sure that for every goldfish you have at least 25 gallons per fish. So that's just one of the little random tips that I would give. And then we're going to look at this again, this Monstera standliana or cobra. This one's growing up a totem, and you can see that when they grow up a totem, that's really their natural habitat. Gorgeous looking variegation. It reminds me of that Thai constellation variegation. Love that a lot, and I just love the fact that this is available to purchase at the Great Outdoors. And then right over here we've got a Philodendron Birkins. This one is for $14.99 in a 4-inch starter planter. This is one of the philodendron I would say is super common. You will find that at a big box store, local plant nursery, grocery stores, you name it, they're there. And then I want to look at this Philodendron Tiger Tooth again. I just can't get over it. I probably should have bought this plant just because I really never really see these out at big box stores. And this one particularly is nice and full. There's a couple of plants in there. And so I would definitely love to add that to my collection. Gorgeous looking Philodendron silver sword as well. Look at that. I love the silver tone about it. I love silver plants. There's just a different vibe when it comes to just the color of that plant. And then this is another philodendron that wants to climb. So just mind you, if you are gonna buy a philodendron silver sword, be prepared to grow them up a pole, a totem pole, or some kind of pole. They do best when it comes to that type of growing condition. Philodendron Ceylon Beauty, $13.99. This is another philodendron that I am a huge fan of, just because of the yellow foliage. And then when you put it right next to other yellow foliage plants, these would definitely light up a space. Now again, in order to keep the coloration of that yellow, the more bright indirect light you give it, the better it will be. Otherwise it starts to like grow more of like a yellow green tone versus yellow. So more bright indirect light. This one can grow very large as well. If you look at the plant care tips, it shows you kind of the potential of its growth. This one needs to be on a trellis or a pole. Here is a Philodendron Ecuador for $49.99 in a 6-inch starter planter. Love the variegation on the leaves, that veining, and then also the velvety texture. It reminds me of a Philodendron verrucosum. I really like this a lot. I would assume this one may need a little bit more humidity. I always assume that for plants that have a velvety texture, that's what they need. Gorgeous looking philodendron, a unique looking philodendron. That's one that I would definitely add to my collection alongside with that philodendron. There's just so many plant foldies. Like, I really hope that you have tuned into this part 2. Like, here's another Rhaphidophora discordia for $16.99. With the Rhaphidophora discordia, you have to get this on a pole. Otherwise, the leaves will not fenestrate. It is a slower growing Rhaphidophora, so I'm not the biggest fan of it, but there's somebody that might like that. Here is a Philodendron Red Imperial, another dark foliage plant. Really love that a lot. This is for $36.99. What I like about it is when you grow this to its maximum size, potentially 3 to 4 feet in span, it is lovely. So you could start out with a starter planter like this, and then you can look at this one right there. That is another Philodendron Black Cardinal. So they're very similar in how they look, but you know, overall beautiful dark foliage plants. Highly encourage those to start collecting dark foliage plants. I feel like that gives your space just a unique vibe about it. So I was actually inspired when I found an Instagram account called The Gothic Garden. So many dark foliage plants. And here we have a Philodendron Revolution right over here. Nice looking one in a hanging basket. I remember seeing one growing on a crate at Rubal's Plants of Texas. It's another local plant nursery in Dallas, but you can see the beautiful shape of the leaves, nice green tone. And you know, with most philodendron, they're usually vigorous growers, very easy to propagate. You can take several cuttings as long as you just cut underneath the node, and then you should be good to go. But that's another thing about philodendron and cuttings. It's easy to multiply that. And this one's for $38.99. Really love that philodendron hanging basket. It's one that I would definitely add to my collection. I am all about these hanging baskets. I ended up actually folding and actually drilling a hole in my my ceiling just because I felt like one of my hanging basket command strips couldn't maintain the hanging basket, so I wanted to head and be more proactive versus waiting for it to fall. But here is a Philodendron Bloody Mary. I actually really like this philodendron. This is the hanging basket I would have totally bought because there's so many cuttings I could take to create multiples of this Philodendron Bloody Mary. It basically looks like a reverted Philodendron Pink Princess. I don't mind that this one doesn't have variegation, like just it being that dark foliage. I think it's stunning. I think it's one that would be easy to grow. I mean, just look at the growth pattern, and the price for it is not bad at all. You can see all of those aerial roots are just screaming to attach onto something or even be propagated. And we're going to look at this Philodendron squamiferum again. I happened to actually see a variegated Philodendron squamiferum at another local nursery in Houston called Cultivar. Can't wait to show you guys that. And then we've got some more hanging baskets of staghorn fern. This one is an Australian tree fern for $18.99. Really like this a lot. It can actually get very large, tree-like almost, and I like the fact that it's got some fuzziness around the actual stem, so I am all about that. Now we're looking at some bird's nest fern right over here for $17.99. These are gorgeous. We see them at big box stores too, and what's interesting about bird's nest fern is that they actually grow really large. More goldfish plant. This is a goldfish black gold, so it's got a little bit more darker foliage, and apparently the blooms are a little bit darker as well. Love that. Look at that natural shine on it. Love it so much. I need to get a goldfish plant. I think that would be something I need to do a little bit more research on. So plant foldies, my viewers watching this video, if you've stuck around this long, let me know if there's any care tips you would add for it. I really would love to learn more from you guys. That's another thing about these plant shopping videos. It's really a place where we can put in the comments or even the live premiere chats, like you know, experiences that we have with specific plants and care tips. I do love this. This is a Boston fern, tiger fern. So it's like a variegated Boston fern, not a bad price at all. Look at the variegation on the fern. Absolutely stunning. I am weary about ferns just because they can be a little bit more finicky plants, not because they're not easy to grow. It's just that the humidity levels, a lot of them require humidity levels that I might not always be able to provide. Let me know if you've had some good success growing plants. And this is interesting. Please do not water as we us with tap water. So love the fact that the Great Outdoors is very explicit about the water, the quality of water that you put for calathea. Like this one is a calathea fasciata. I thought this was some type of Calathea orbifolia. I remember seeing this in a ceramic planter by Nature's Way at Home Depot for $8.99, but this is a gorgeous looking Calathea. What I've decided with Calathea, if I'm gonna grow them now, is I'm gonna just convert all of them to hydroponics because it takes the guessing game of whether you're gonna have to water a Calathea. I also think growing Calathea in water, like in a bowl, gives it a high some humidity, some natural ambient humidity because there's just sitting water right there. So that kind of fixes two things. I recently converted a Calathea Dottie, and it's doing very well. Here we have a Calathea Freddy. We've seen this at a big box store. Look at how gorgeous the leaves are. Definitely want to get more calathea in my collection. It's just a matter of getting that time to really invest and make sure that the environment they're in are placed in a way where they can grow very well. Here we've got a black bat plant. So it's another type of plant here. I love the fact that the leaves have a nice texture about it. Even just the subtleties in the plants itself are just gorgeous. Like, I can appreciate this because it's a shiny plant naturally, and just even the ruffles on the texture of the leaves. Here we've got a Calathea sanguinea or something, however you pronounce it. It's got more velvety leaves. This one has just a little slight damage on the leaves, but needless to say, you can probably rehab that or just cut off some of the browning on the leaves to just make it more aesthetically pleasing. And then right over here, we've got a unique looking plant. This one is a Geonanthus plant. This one, I've been told, for $28.99 is a little bit more finicky of a plant. This is actually being bottom watered. So if you want to know what bottom watering looks like, it looks like this. They basically have these Geonanthus sitting in some water and letting it just soak up the water that way. This one is actually seen at Costa Farms Trending Tropical. So you can find this at a grocery store selling Costa Farms Trending Tropicals, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, any big box store. And then you can see here, we've got some goldfish shady ladies. That's an interesting looking, name for it, $12.99, goldfish shady ladies. I don't see anything shady about this plant because it looks super healthy, very lush. Let me know in the comments if you guys are a fan of like goldfish plants. I definitely want to add some to my collection. I just like that like waxy plastic look. It looks artificial. And then we've got some curly lipstick plants. So I remember seeing this at a Lowe's in a hanging basket. Definitely a unique looking plant. Definitely love that it's got that texture about the leaves. I remember seeing that at Lowe's in a hanging basket. I should have picked it up. And then this one is another goldfish black gold. So this one has a darker foliage as well. So again, the great outdoors, thank you guys for having plants that are in different sizes. So like if you don't want to buy a full hanging basket, you will usually find one in a 4-inch starter planter. So beautiful plant all around here. Right over here, we have a lipstick black pagoda for $12.99. This is probably the most interesting one. Look at the variegation on the leaves. Nice looking plant. It looks like a zebra almost. And for a lipstick plant, even the undersides of the leaves are very unique. What a nice looking lipstick plant. Never have seen this before. And $12.99 is not a bad price for such leaf interest. This one is a lipstick plant, Mona Lisa. And you can see that it's starting to bloom. Look at how gorgeous those blooms are. Just a really nice dark purple tone about it. Very subtle as well. It's a very elegant looking plant. And that's the thing about plants. As we continue to look at local plant nurseries, we can see plants that we never have been exposed to. Like we think about this. This is a peperomia happy bean. I would have thought this was some type of succulent. This one's only for $10.99. Look at how gorgeous it is though. And they do look like bean sprouts. Can't get over the fact that it has such gorgeous looking foliage. I love it a lot. It's definitely one that I would definitely add to my collection as well. I love peperomias. I only have one peperomia, and that is a peperomia Ginny. This one is a peperomia Ecuador. So my friend Isaac, who has a channel as well, Hi JR Sings, he ends up getting one of those, and I'm thinking about getting a cutting from him. And then here are the peperomia Guineas or Ginnies. Look at how beautiful the foliage is. And then I was told that the plant care tips are similar to a succulent. Actually, peperomia kind of remind me of succulents. Like this one is one that we see at big box stores, peperomia Golden Gate. Look at that gorgeous variegation. The more light you give it, the more highly variegated it will be. And I actually prefer this one right next. So this is a peperomia gray. $7.99 is not a bad price for this plant. It's got more subtle variegation, so it's not as like overt as like the Golden Gate peperomia. It has some splotching about it. Really nice looking peperomia. It's one that I would definitely add to my collection. There's just a lot of plants I will add to my collection. Like let me know if you are that plant keeper that you just when you see a plant you just want to add it. But the good thing about it is I have had some very good self-restraint. Look at these Peperomia dolabriformis, if that's how you pronounce it. Love it because look at that. It's super happy. You see those little stems out like that. That's actually its bloom. So you can tell that that plant has had some really good growing conditions. And then here is another Peperomia roca verde in a hanging basket. It almost reminds me of like a lipstick plant. Nice looking one as well. And you can see they've got some assorted palms right over here. A bunch of dracaenas. Again, we've talked about dracaenas being a very underrated plant. Look at how large they can get. Now think about the dracaena you will see at a big box store, like an Exotic Angels one that you would buy in a 3-inch starter planter. That's how large they will get. And we just have more plants here. I just want to walk by here because we already talked about this in my first plant tour part 1. So let's just take a walk through here.
Spent together in our prime, we were birds of a feather, different kind. We were laughing through the pain, you were never once so bad. Cut the cord that kept us connected, blacking out the mirror where your light once reflected. All of the love from up above. We used to feel like.
And you've gotta love ZZ plants. I love the great outdoors for having such large ZZ plants. They're easy to take care of. And then also these dracaenas. One of my favorite dracaenas, the Dracaena Stead Sol. I love the fact that the variegation is really high at the top of the plant and then it becomes more subtle. Lots of assorted alocaceas right here. Lots of hanging baskets of spider plants that are in perfect condition. More alocasia. These are all very priced well. And then obviously the Aglaonema, like this Aglaonema BJ Friedman. Love that as a lot. I used to see that as more of a common plant. Not a bad price at all. And again, if you do want a starter plant, get you Aglaonemas. They are gorgeous and they come in so many varieties. This is the one that I bought, that Aglaonema spethonema. But this is one that I should have bought as well. This one is an Aglaonema rice. Love the variegation and I love the fact that they've got white stems. White stem Aglaonema are my favorites. We've got an Aglaonema shade right here, some Hoyas growing up totems, and just look at all of the plants. I just can't get over the fact that there's just so many plants. I'm just gonna zoom by these because these dracaenas we've looked at part 1 of the Great Outdoors. But again, guys, I wasn't sponsored by the Great Outdoors, but I do appreciate them and want to show my appreciation by making local plant nursery shopping videos like this. I think that everybody should be exposed to this. Definitely need to see more local plant nurseries. So in the comments, if you haven't already, please leave a comment, but more so please hit the like button. I can't stress to you guys enough that if you really do want to show me support and want me to continue to make these 1-hour long plant shopping videos, a simple hitting of the like button would help me out. And then obviously we've got all of these Syngoniums. I am in love with Syngoniums. Phottonias, Ficus elastica or ruby plants are over there. These Aglaonema are amazing. Love it so much. And they're just so easy to care for. The Great Outdoors, again, is one of these plant nurseries that I intend to visit again. And then when I visit, I'm probably going to buy a bunch of plants.
Cut the cord that kept us connected, blacking out the mirror where your light once reflected. All of the love from up above. We used to feel like a glove.
I just really like the fact that I've been able to show you more details about the plants, and you can see outdoors they've got gorgeous plants right over here. I want to feature more nurseries like this and be more detailed about like all of the other tents that they have. So I will definitely be visiting Austin. Like this right over here, I finally found out what my plant is. I have a Swedish ivy, gorgeous looking plant. Look at that variegation. This one's for $19.99. Another plant I should have bought, but My plant foldies, if you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. And then thank you to Heather, the social media manager, for promoting my videos. I wish the great outdoors the best of luck. I hope more people will visit you guys. And as always, please, please, please hit the like button on my channel. I can't stress to you guys enough how much it helps my videos. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you guys to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram at Growfold. It's a quick way to send me a DM. I respond to everybody. And if you guys enjoyed this video, come check out my other series of plant videos. I will be doing more plant shopping tours. And as always, this is Richie at Growfold. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.